What is going on, you guys? AK40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven. We have yet another wireless mouse from Razer to review today, as I am going through the entire lineup that Razer currently offers in their wireless department. Now on this channel, I have already reviewed all of the Razer keyboards. That video is linked in the description below, and now we're kind of focusing over on the mouse side of the house, specifically with wireless mice. So the ProClick over here is quite a bit different than traditional Razer mice, as it's not really a gaming mouse, it's more of a productivity mouse. So maybe something you'd bring into the office, or if you're doing some kind of multimedia production like music or video editing, this might be what you want, as this is a joint collaboration with the company HumanScale that, in case you guys don't know, works on ergonomic chairs and mice, keyboards, stuff like that. Alrighty guys, without further ado, we're going to break into this box here. I'm going to walk you through the initial setup with the PC, so getting the drivers installed and whatnot, and then at the end I'm going to talk a little bit about who I think this mouse is for and who it's not for. Alrighty guys, over here at the Stormtrooper desktop, if you're new to the channel, this is where we do all of our unboxings, custom controller builds, PC builds, tutorials, and other good stuff like that. So, this is very interesting as Razer is a gaming company, much like Corsair, Logitech, HYPR, but this is not a gaming mouse. In fact, it lacks a lot of the features that a traditional gaming mouse would have, but this is designed more so to be an ergonomic sculpted mouse that you can take to the office, or if you're somebody that thinks Razer has a very handsome looking product, good customer service, good warranty, and you're not a gamer, then this might be for you. So this is a design in collaboration with HumanScale, which I mentioned a little bit during the intro, does a lot of office ergonomic work to keep employees from straining their backs and whatnot from hours of sitting here. So some of the features you're getting here is a Razer 5G advanced optical sensor. So it does have a very good sensor in there, and technically you could game with this. You can game with an old 1990 Dell mouse that you find at a flea market for $1. You can play games with it. It's probably just not ideal. But it does have a good optical sensor in there, so we'll test that out on my Canvas mouse pad here and see how it tracks and everything. You have multi-host connectivity, which allows you to connect up to 4 devices for convenient multitasking. So I don't understand exactly how that works. We'll definitely test that feature, but I guess you could have like 4 laptops, PCs, etc. connected to this one mouse. You just walk up to it, hit a button, and you're in the profile for that PC, and you're able to keep working on that PC. If that does work like that, that's awesome for office productivity, being able to increase your workflow by just, walking to the next workstation or PC and being able to use your mouse over there. I think that's really cool. And this does have up to 400 hours of battery life, which is awesome. I'm 99% sure this runs on disposables, probably 2 AA's. I don't think this is a rechargeable, but we'll find that out in just a hot second here. So breaking into the box here, this is one of those interesting Razer boxes that opens up like one of those little paper origami things you'd make in middle school where you'd ask it questions like, am I going to get detention this week? Or does Susie want to go to the ball with me? Or whatever. So not the most premium packaging, which is kind of surprising because this does retail for $100 on Amazon and Best Buy and whatnot. I will have this linked in the description below to Amazon, as they do constantly run sales on it. And if you try it out, don't like it, you have 30 days to return it for your money back, which is nice. And Amazon really doesn't ask too many questions about that. So, yeah, the packaging is very underwhelming. Generally, Razer has laser cut foam and really pretty packaging with some cool flashy gizmos on there and stuff like that. But this isn't a gaming mouse, so they probably aren't really trying to appeal to the gamer crowd. But even the office crowd, I'm sure, would like a little bit more premium packaging here. So it comes in a little burlap sack here, which also feels really, really cheap. This doesn't feel like micro suede or anything like that. This is just like a really cheap cloth bag here. So that's pretty underwhelming. Pull the mouse out here. Wow, that is a beauty though. I gotta say, that is a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous looking mouse. Well, you'll see more of that when I run B-roll later on in the video, but my goodness, that is a good looking mouse. All right, so I was incorrect in my previous statement. This is rechargeable. You have a 10-foot cable here. It's not braided microfiber. It's just a regular rubberized cable here. It does have a dust cover on the tip of the USB, and then it is Razer branded on both ends, and this is a proprietary cable, so if you lose this, you're kind of SOL, as it is a pretty narrow, well, it's actually a very narrow and also specific shape. So you would literally have to get another one of these cables. So if your dog eats this or you lose it or something, plan on buying a replacement. You do have a rubber tie back here for the cable, which is very, very nice. You have your instruction manual here, which in proper Razer fashion has lots of lime green in there, as that is their signature color, so good branding there, staying with that theme. English is the primary language. Good font, it's pretty descriptive, it walks you through the entire process of how to pair. Alright, so the mouse itself, guys, feels very, very comfortable. I mean, that's the entire purpose of this mouse, is to be ergonomically sculpted. This is not an ambidextrous mouse or anything, this is for a right-handed user. Granted, most left-handed people, like myself, use mice with their right hands. I can't even fathom using a mouse with my left hand, it doesn't even feel natural. But yeah, ergonomically, this fits perfect. I have pretty average sized hands. I'm 5'11", 175 pounds, so a pretty average North American male, and this thing fits my hand pretty doggone well. I will say this rubberized grip on the side feels phenomenal. You definitely could game with this, at least from a ergonomics and comfort standpoint for sure. You do also have 2 additional buttons on the side here, which you can use to go backwards and forwards when browsing the web, and they feel very crisp, tactile, light, responsive. And then the left and right mouse buttons. Same thing, very good mechanical switches in there. I'd expect nothing less from Razer. Good resistance, good rebound, very satisfying tactile click to let you know you registered the key. You also have a button up here on the top that is for changing your DPI, or dots per inch. And what that is the sensitivity of your mouse. So if you're playing a game or just browsing the web or something and you hop on somebody else's mouse and it feels really sensitive or really, really slow across the screen, tap that a couple times and you'll change your DPI. I really love the design, the look of the scroll wheel here with that brushed stainless, and then also you have this kind of stainless steel line around the bottom. It's a very, very handsome mouse, and it is much different than Razer's typical gamer fashion with the RGB lighting and whatnot. This is more of a classy, elegant, something you'd see in a nice office. Then you do have a little bit of Razer branding there in like a sterling silver color, but nothing... You know, it's quite understated, it's quite classy, it's nothing too flashy or anything like that. As for the scroll wheel itself, it has nice distinct steps, good weight to it, so you're not going to accidentally rotate through it. Clicking it down feels pretty satisfying. It feels a little loose to me. Yeah, it feels a little bit wobbly and loose to me, but it also feels quite heavy as well, because I think that's actually metal. It's not plastic or anything, it's painted silver or anything, it's actually aluminum. Now, as this isn't a gaming mouse, you don't have any crazy, you know, awesome competitive skates on there or anything like that for, competitive skates on there for gliding across a mouse pad or anything like that. You do have your optical sensor right there, and then pulling this tab back, you do have your 2.4 gigahertz dongle, so this does have Bluetooth connectivity if you have a laptop or a computer motherboard that has Bluetooth support. Or you can go with the 2.4 gigahertz connector. Now, if you guys are going to be doing any kind of gaming, do not use Bluetooth. It gives you much, much more latency or input delay or lag as compared to using a dedicated 2.4 gigahertz connection via a little dongle like this. You just plug this right to the top of your tower, like that. And whenever you install a new Razer device by plugging in an adapter or anything like that, the Razer Synapse 3 application is going to pop up and prompt you to install the drivers. So it really is quite plug and play, and that means you don't have to indulge into the web to find drivers or anything like that. So turning this thing on, we're not going to use Bluetooth for 2 reasons. 1, I'm a gamer, so I don't really use Bluetooth. 2, I don't even have the capability in my motherboard here. That's a $1,150 custom PC. Doesn't have Bluetooth. Don't need it. Don't use it for anything. So it's now pairing with the PC. And as you see, the Razer Synapse 3 application is popping up here on this top monitor. We're going to go ahead and install the drivers for it. Should take about a minute to 2 minutes, and then it's going to restart Windows. So if you need to save any work or anything like that, it will ask you. It won't just restart on its own. It'll prompt you. So make sure you save your work. Alrighty guys, so the Razer Synapse 3 application is done installing the drivers. I'm going to bring you guys over to my PC and walk you guys through the initial setup. Alrighty guys, we're over here at my PC. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys to walk you through the initial setup process of the Razer Synapse 3 application. So, in case you've never used the Synapse 3 application before, it'll have all of your Razer devices up here. This is kind of awkward to me that it doesn't have a percentage for the battery life. It just gives you the bar itself, and I've looked through the software. There is no way to turn that on. So kind of nitpicky, but it'd be kind of nice to have that as well. So clicking on this here, the first tab is Customize, and this will allow you to remap the scroll wheel, as well as the side buttons, or even the left and right mouse click if you wish to do that as well.
Now, I would leave all this default because I changed all this stuff in-game, so if you're going to be gaming with this, I'd just leave these default and then change your in-game settings. Over here for performance, you have your multiple DPI modes, which as you see as I press the button on the top of the mouse here, it scrolls through those profiles, and you also get that little overlay in the bottom right of the screen, which will appear in game. So if you pick up a sniper rifle or something, want a little bit more precise, finite movements, you can go ahead and use that. I just turn this off personally and set it to 1 DPI that I like. Polling rate is how many times it'll refresh its connectivity with the PC. By default, this one's at 500, most likely because it's not a dedicated gaming mouse. It's just a office/productivity mouse. But 1,000, obviously that's refreshing 1,000 times. So to me, it makes sense just to crank that up to the highest possible value. I don't see a downside. Perhaps slightly less battery life as it is pinging back and forth with the PC constantly, but I'm not really sure. Over here in the power section, this is how long your mouse is going to be inactive before it goes into standby mode. 5 minutes seems good, as do keep in mind, if you get up to go to the bathroom or something like that, you don't have to wait 3 to 5 seconds after you touch your mouse or click it for it to pop back on and start working for you again. So much less customizability than we're used to seeing with other Razer products, even their mice, for example. Like when you get a dedicated gaming mouse, you have not only the RGB stuff for the lighting, but also lift-off distance for how high you can get off your mouse pad before it stops registering. You can also customize for different mouse pad surfaces. But again, that's specifically for gaming, and this is not a gaming mouse per se. This is from a gaming company, a gaming peripheral company, but I think they're kind of trying to span out a little bit and reach that office market as well. So despite the fact that this is not a gaming mouse, this is a gaming YouTube channel, so I am going to play a couple matches with this thing, and then I'll tell you guys my final thoughts as to who I think this mouse is for. Can you game with it for my dedicated gamers, or is this strictly like an office productivity mouse? Alrighty guys, so Razer's slogan is for gamers by gamers, but this mouse is more so by gamers for accountants. This thing would look great inside of an Apple store or some kind of a sterile surgical room or something. And can you game with it? Well, yeah, I mean, you can game with a baked potato or your mom's vibrator. Literally, it doesn't matter what's in your hand as long as you're a decent, first-person shooter or MMO player or gamer, period. You're going to be able to game with, a $1 thrift store mouse. But is this ideal for gaming? I would say no. The sensor in there is quite good, so obviously tracking and whatnot is quite responsive. The skates were actually also surprisingly good. They don't look like anything special, but they actually glide really well. I think some of that is probably due to the mouse being rather heavy and me having a soft cloth mouse pad that basically works well with heavy mice. I will say stylistically, this thing looks absolutely beautiful. Granted, looks are subjective, but I think it looks really good, especially somebody that has a white setup. I think it would look good with my setup. But obviously, I would not have this as my primary mouse or probably even a secondary mouse because I am a gamer and this isn't really a gaming mouse. It is lacking a lot of the features like lift-off control. And it does have DPI switchability. I didn't really use that at all, but I did test it during the initial setup and whatnot. I know it does work and whatnot. Gameplay here is nothing too crazy. I was just kind of messing around, running around, trying to get a daily challenge done by getting headshots with a shotgun. And I gotta say, if you're bringing this into an office or something like that, I think it would be pretty good for you, at least ergonomically. It's very easy on the wrist. I didn't get any finger fatigue in my thumbs or my knuckles or joints or anything like that, which I think is what this mouse is primarily designed for. However, the left and right mouse buttons are very, very clicky, which could get annoying for your cube mate, or if you're in a bullpen, you share space in a cubicle. The guy or gal to the left or right of you might be like, hey, Jerry, can you shut the fuck up and get yourself a regular mouse, please? Because it's just it is a little noisy. Then you combine that being the guy in the office that has a mechanical keyboard as well. You're over there clickety clacking away. People might get real sick of you real quick. But again, the stock skates are really impressive. Palm grip is ideal. You can also claw grip pretty effectively with this thing and get those finite movements in there. Left and right mouse button felt really tactile, really clicky. The side buttons also felt really good. And then the scroll wheel, not only can you scroll up and down and then click down, but you can also push the scroll wheel to the left or right. And those are two additional remappable functions, which is pretty cool. I did try that out a little bit. It does work, but to me, that felt a little bit like too much going on the mouse wheel for me personally. So this does have Bluetooth, which is great. Again, I wouldn't use that for gaming, but for productivity, you will squeeze a little bit of extra battery life out of that. And if you're just using this for, an office setting, I think battery life would actually matter, especially, it doesn't run on disposables or anything like that, so you're going to have to charge it. But overall, just a pretty fine mouse. I think it does fit into the Razer family.